and welcome to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Jill.
And I'm Julie, and this week we are focusing on books that have senior protagonists in them. So I will turn it over to Jill to kick things off with her first pick.
So this was actually a viewer's choice, had suggested this. So, if you have any suggestions, we'd love to hear them, and we will take your ideas. So my first pick for senior protagonist is The Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Frye by Rachel Joyce. Meet Harold Frye, recently retired. He lives in a small English village with his wife Maureen, who seems irritated by almost everything he does, even down to how he butters his toast. Little differentiates one day from the next. Then one morning the mail arrives, and within the stack of quotidian minutiae is a letter addressed to Harold in a shaky scrawl from a woman he hasn't seen or heard from in 20 years. Queenie Hennessy is in hospice and is writing to say goodbye. Harold pens a quick reply and, leaving Maureen to her chores, heads to the corner mailbox. But then, as happens in the very best works of fiction, Harold has a chance encounter, one that convinces him that he absolutely must deliver his message to Queenie in person. And thus begins The Unlikely Pilgrimage. Harold Frye is determined to walk 600 miles from Kingsbridge to the hospice in Berwick-upon-Tweed because he believes, as long as he walks, Queenie Hennessy will live. Still in his yachting shoes and light coat, Harold embarks on his urgent quest across the countryside. Along the way, he meets one character after another, each of whom unlocks his long-dormant spirit and sense of promise. Memories of his first dance with Maureen, his wedding day, his joy in fatherhood come rushing back to him, allowing him to also reconcile the losses and the regrets. As for Maureen, she finds herself missing Harold for the first time in years.
Oh.
And then there's the unfinished business of Queen Hennessy. So, the Unlikely Pilgrimage of Harold Frye.
And my first pick is one of our patron picks. This has been a popular book recently, The Thursday Murder Club by Richard Osman. This was just published in 2020. It's about 4 septuagenarians with a few tricks up their sleeves, a female cop with her first big case, a brutal murder. So in this peaceful retirement village, 4 unlikely friends meet weekly in the jigsaw room to discuss unsolved crimes. Together, they call themselves the Thursday Murder Club. Elizabeth, Joyce, Ibrahim, and Ron might be pushing 80, but they still have a few tricks up their sleeves. When a local developer is found dead with a mysterious photograph left next to the body, the Thursday Murder Club suddenly finds themselves in the middle of their first live case. As the bodies begin to pile up, can our unorthodox but brilliant gang catch the killer before it's too late? The book was described as so much fun, a mystery that's cheeky and full of surprises, and at the same time, a loving tribute to getting older and the relationships we all form from best friends to spouses. So the Thursday Murder Club.
I've seen that one going through a lot.
Yep, that's been a popular read lately.
My next pick is 3 Things About Elsie by Joanna Cannon. 84-year-old Florence has fallen in her flat at Cherry Tree Home for the Elderly. As she waits to be rescued, Florence wonders if a terrible secret from her past is about to come to light. And if the charming new resident is who he claims to be, why does he look exactly like a man who died 60 years ago? Florence is convinced she knows his real identity, but the staff and other residents think she's just confused. Only her best friend Elsie believes her, and they set out to unravel the past and prove everyone else wrong. But some truths are too painful to reveal, and some memories might be better left alone. 3 Things About Elsie is a charming and compassionate novel about forever friends and the twisting path of life. This book will teach you many things, and here are 3 of them. Number 1, the fine threads of humanities will connect us all forever. 2, there is so very much more to anyone than the worst thing they have ever done. And 3, even the smallest life can leave the loudest echo. So, 3 Things About Elsie.
My second pick today is Quartet in Autumn by Barbara Pym. I'm not sure how she pronounces that. First published in 1977. So this is an older book. This is a story of 4 people in late middle age, Edwin, Norman, Letty, and Marcia, whose chief point of contact is that they work in the same office and they suffer the same problem, loneliness. Lovingly, poignantly, satirically, and with some humor, the author guides us through their small lives and the facade they erect to defend themselves against the outside world. There's nevertheless an obstinate optimism in these characters, allowing them in their different ways to win through to a kind of hope. The author's sensitive wit and artistry are at their most sparkling, it's been said, in this book, A Quartet in Autumn. This author was an English novelist. In the 1950s, she published a series of social comedies, of which the best known are Excellent Women and A Glass of Blessings. So if you want to check out a book from the late 70s, Quartet in Autumn.
Classic. My next one is Lillian Boxfist Takes a Walk by Kathleen Rooney. It's the last day of 1984, and 85-year-old Lillian Boxfist is about to take a walk. As she traverses the grittier Manhattan, a city anxious after an attack by still-at-large subway vigilante, she encounters bartenders, bodega clerks, chauffeurs, security guards, bohemians, criminals, children, parents, and parents-to-be in surprising moments of generosity and grace. While she strolls, Lillian recalls a long and eventful life that included a brief reign as the highest-paid advertising woman in America, a career cut short by marriage, motherhood, divorce, and a breakdown. A love letter to city life, however shiny or sleazy, Lillian Boxfist Takes a Walk by Kathleen Rooney paints a portrait of a remarkable woman across a canvas of changing America, from jazz age to the onset of the AIDS epidemic, the Great Depression, and the birth of hip-hop. So, take a walk through time, too.
My third pick for today is The Bridge Ladies by Betsy Lerner. This was published in 2016. A 50-year-old bridge game and the secrets it held provides an unexpected way to cross the generational divide between the author and her mother. Betsy Lerner takes us on an intimate and powerfully personal literary journey where we learn a little about bridge and a lot about life. After a lifetime of defining herself against her mother's don't ask, don't tell generation, Betsy Lerner, a poster child of the sex, drugs, and rock and roll generation, finds herself back in her childhood home of New Haven, Connecticut, not 5 miles from the mother she spent a lifetime avoiding. When Roz needs help after surgery, it falls to Betsy to take care of her. She expected a week of tense civility, but what she got instead were the Bridge Ladies. Impressed with their loyalty, she realized her generation was lacking. Facebook was great, but it wouldn't deliver a pot roast. So tentatively at first, Betsy becomes a regular fixture at her mother's Monday Bridge Club, but before long she braves the intimidating world of bridge and comes under its spell. But it is through her friendships with the ladies that she is finally able to face years of misunderstandings and family tragedy. The Bridge Ladies becomes a Greek chorus, a catalyst for change between mother and daughter. The Bridge Ladies brilliantly weaves the stories of these ladies along with those of Betsy and her mother across a lifetime of missed opportunities. And the result is an unforgettable and profound journey into a hard-won, but never too late, bond between a mother and daughter. So The Bridge Ladies by Betsy Lerner. This one sounded interesting to me.
I like that. Yeah. This one is not a very happy book, but it's good. The Leisureseeker by Michael Zadorian. There is a movie on this one, The Leisureseeker, that stars Donald Sutherland and Helen Mirren. The unforgettable cross-country journey of a runaway couple in their twilight years determined to meet the end of all roads on their own terms. The Rubinas have shared a wonderful life for more than 60 years. Now in their 80s, Ella suffers from cancer and John has Alzheimer's. Yearning for one last adventure, the self-proclaimed down-on-their-luck geezers kidnap themselves from the adult children and doctors who seem to run their lives and steal away from their home in suburban Detroit in a forbidden vacation of rediscovery. With Ella as his vigilant co-pilot, John steers their 78 Leisureseeker RV along forgotten roads of Route 66 toward Disneyland in search of a past they're having a damn hard time remembering. Yet Ella is determined to prove that when it comes to life, you can go back for seconds, even when everyone says you can't. So, The Leisureseeker. Good book and good movie.
My fourth pick, this one might be familiar to some people, The Little Old Lady Who Broke All the Rules. This book is part of the series called The League of Pensioners, which also contains The Little Old Lady Who Struck Lucky Again and The Little Old Lady Behaving Badly, a novel. But this is The Little Old Lady Who Broke All the Rules by Katharina Engelman Sundberg. In this book, 79-year-old Martha Anderson dreams of escaping her care home and robbing a bank. She has no intention of spending the rest of her days in an armchair and is determined to fund her way to a much more exciting lifestyle. Along with her four oldest friends, otherwise known as the League of Pensioners, Martha decides to rebel against all of the rules imposed upon them. Together, they create an uproar with their antics, protesting against early bedtimes and plastic meals. As the elderly friends become more daring, their activities escalate, and they come up with a cunning plan to break out of the care home and land themselves in a far more attractive Stockholm establishment. With the aid of their Zimmer frames, which I had to look up, those are walkers to us in America, they resolve to stand up for old age pensioners everywhere, Robin Hood style. And that's when the adventure really takes off. So this sounds like a fun series to check into.
Hilarious. Even the thing with her mask. My next pick is The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo by Taylor Jenkins Reid. Taylor Jenkins Reid is one of my favorite new authors right now. She's also written other things that are great too. But this one has a senior protagonist. Aging and reclusive Hollywood movie icon Evelyn Hugo is finally ready to tell the truth about her glamorous and scandalous life. But when she chooses unknown magazine reporter Monique Grant for the job, no one is more astounded than Monique herself. Why her? Why now? Monique is not exactly the top of the world. Her husband has left her and her professional life is going nowhere. Regardless of why Evelyn has selected her to write her biography, Monique is determined to use this opportunity to jumpstart her career. Summoned to Evelyn's luxurious apartment, Monique listens in fascination as the actress tells her story, from making her way to Los Angeles in the 1950s to her decision to leave show business in the 80s, and of course, the seven husbands along the way. Evelyn unspools a tale of ruthless, ambitious, unexpected friendship and a great forbidden love. Monique begins to feel very real connection to the legendary star, but as Evelyn's story nears its conclusion, it becomes clear that her life intersects with Monique's own in a tragic and irreversible ways. So, yeah, Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
And my last pick for today is called The Housekeeper and the Professor by Yoko Ogawa, published in 2009. He is a brilliant math professor with a peculiar problem. Ever since a traumatic head injury, he has lived with only 80 minutes of short-term memory. She is an astute young housekeeper with a 10-year-old son who's hired to care for him. And every morning, as the professor and the housekeeper are introduced to each other anew, a strange and beautiful relationship blossoms between them. Though he cannot hold memories for long, his brain is like a tape that begins to erase itself every 80 minutes. The professor's mind is still alive with elegant equations from the past. And the numbers, in all of their articulate order, reveal a sheltering and poetic world to both the housekeeper and her young son. The professor is capable of discovering connections between the simplest of quantities, like the housekeeper's shoe size and the universe at large, drawing their lives ever closer and more profoundly together. The Housekeeper and the Professor is an enchanting story about what it means to live in the present and about the curious equations that can help us to create a family. So it sounded like kind of a different type of book, but it sounded interesting to me. So,
yeah. Well, thanks for watching. Be sure to like and share this video below and give us more comments if we love them.
Yes, we always like to hear from you and share some of the books that fit into this category that you've read that we could critique, or if you have another topic for us, we're always happy to hear that. Next week we're back to nonfiction with the 300 series, from 300 to 399 in the Dewey Decimal System. And you'll notice Jill and I are in our Tales and Tales t-shirts. Summer reading starts next week, so we hope to see you all coming in and signing up for that and enjoying our library programs this summer. So thanks for watching, everybody.
Bye.